Welcome to Inertia. Today we will discuss the theme Bricks, Beads and Bones, the Harappan Civilization, Note 4 from NCERT. In the previous video, that is, in Note 3, we have already discussed about strategies for procuring materials, contact with distant lands, seals, script and weights, ancient authority, palaces and kings, and the end of the civilization. Discovering the Harappan Civilization. Initial discoveries. When Harappan cities fell into ruin, people gradually forgot all about them. The strange artifacts which occasionally surfaced, washed by floods or exposed by soil erosion, or turned up while ploughing a field or digging for treasure. Cunningham's confusion. When Cunningham, the first Director General of the Archaeological Survey of India (ASI), began archaeological excavations in the mid-19th century, archaeologists preferred to use the written word, that is, texts and inscriptions, as a guide to investigations. Cunningham's main interest was in the archaeology of the early historic 6th century BCE to 4th century CE and later periods. He used the accounts left by Chinese Buddhist pilgrims who had visited the subcontinent between the 4th and 7th centuries CE to locate early settlements. A site like Harappa, which was not part of the itinerary of the Chinese pilgrims and was not known as early historic city and did not fit very well within his framework of investigation. Therefore, although Harappan artifacts were found fairly often during the 19th century and some of these reached Cunningham, he did not realize how old these were, and he placed them within the time frame of the first cities of Ganga Valley, unaware of the actual period of the artifacts. Now we look at the picture of Cunningham's sketch of the first known seal from Harappa. A new old civilization. In 1924, John Marshall, Director General of ASI, announced the discovery of a new civilization in the Indus Valley to the world. This was because similar unidentified seals were found at excavations at Mesopotamian sites, making them contemporary civilization to the Harappan civilization. Marshall ignored the stratigraphy of the site, excavated horizontally, and all artifacts were grouped together even if they belonged to different stratigraphic layer and hence led to the loss of valuable information. New techniques and questions. Wheeler recognized that it was necessary to follow the stratigraphy of the mound rather than dig mechanically along uniform horizontal lines. With the partition of the subcontinent and the creation of Pakistan, the major sites are now in the Pakistani territory. Archaeologists from world over are now interested in Harappan culture, and they are using modern scientific techniques to minutely analyze evidences. Problems of piecing together the past. The material evidence, that is pottery, tools, household items, etc., is more well suited to reconstruct the Harappan life than the ancient script of the period. Organic materials are destroyed by natural decay, and thus only source of information are the stone, burnt clay and metal, etc. Broken and useless objects usually are found. Valuable artifacts are accidental finds. Classifying finds. We can classify the finds according to the materials used, that is stone, clay, metal, bone, ivory, etc., and function, tool or ornament, or both, or ritualistic. We can also classify it as indirect evidence using deduction method to find out. Example, traces of cotton fabric used for clothing. Style of clothing, that is found in the depictions in sculpture. Another classification is the frames of reference, cultural sequence and comparison with contemporary cultures like Mesopotamia. Problems of interpretation. Early archaeologists gave religious significance to the finds, and thus the terracotta figurines of heavily jeweled women were considered as mother goddesses. Priest king was also similarly classified. Now we see the picture of the terracotta figurine labeled as Mother Goddess. Seals and plant motifs were used to reconstruct the religion of the period. A unicorn is depicted in the seals. We now observe the seal which depicts the unicorn in Harappan Civilization. A man sitting in a yogic pose surrounded by animals is depicted in the seals and is interpreted as proto-shiva, the early form of Shiva or as Pasupati, the lord of animals, who is neither depicted as a yogi and Pasupati in later traditions, that is, Rig Veda and Puranas. Now we look at the picture of the Pasupati Shiva seal that is found in Harappan culture. This interpretation is made generally because the experts link the past with the present and draw parallels, which is an efficient method for stone querns and pots, but is considered speculative when religion is concerned. Thanks for viewing Indian history. The Harappan Civilization. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel Inertia.